Well, now that the bridge is glued on, I'm kind of into the final stages of the construction. I'm getting close to being able to put the strings on the guitar. So the first couple of things I'm going to do to get to that point is to make the nut and the saddle. I get chunks of bleached bone from a supplier. They're oversized. They don't fit in the slots for the saddle or the nut, so I have to sand and file those down and then work them into the right shape. Here's the roughed out nut. I will deepen the slots and smooth off the corners and polish it up after I get the strings on for the first time. All right, that's it. It fits snugly in the slot, but not so tight that I'm forcing it in. So now I'll trim it to length and then change the height of it a little bit so that when I put the strings on, the action won't be a mile high. But just like with the nut, I'll wait till after the strings have been on the guitar for a little bit before I make the final adjustments to the saddle height. So just to get me in the ballpark, I'm going to reduce the height of the saddle so that at the 12th fret this straight edge is about 3/32 of an inch off the fret. I will certainly have to lower it more than that after a while, but this just gets me close. So now I'll put some strings on, get the saddle and the nut in position. And what I like to do when I have them available, and I do right now, is when I do the initial stringing up, I use old strings. This is an old Baritone guitar string set. And the reason that I like to use old strings is because when I'm doing all the adjustments for the string height, I tighten and loosen the strings any number of times, and I sometimes do it so many times that I break off a string or two. So I just as soon use some junky old strings for this part where I do the adjustments, and then I'll put on a brand new set before I pronounce the instrument done. Okay, so the strings are on it. Now I'm just going to let the guitar sit under tension for about a day, and then I'll make all the adjustments. Alright, I let the guitar sit for a couple days. Now I'm going to make the final adjustments to it and finish it up. I wasn't recording at the time, but I did just finish polishing the nut and well, first grinding it down so that only about half of the diameter of the string is sitting in the slot. There's no reason for the extra material up above that. So I sanded that down to where I wanted it, and then buffed it on the same wheels that I use for buffing lacquer, so it's nice and shiny. But that is all set now, and my next step is to make sure I've got the truss rod where I want it to be as far as the tension goes. So the way I do that is I put one finger at the first fret, doesn't matter which string really, and then another finger at the 12th fret. And when I have the right amount of relief in the neck, if I look at the 5th fret, I can see a gap of about a 32nd to a 64th of an inch between the bottom of the string and the top of the 5th fret. That's how I know my truss rod is where I want it to be. Next, I'm going to adjust the string height at the saddle. I've got a ruler here, and where I generally set up most guitars, including baritones, is for the string height at the 12th fret on the bass string to be at 3/32 of an inch, and the treble string a little under that at 5/64 of an inch. So what I'm going to do is measure here, and I see I'm about a 64th over that target on both ends. So now I need to reduce the saddle in order to bring the action down. And because I'm basically dealing with a right triangle here, the string being the hypotenuse of the triangle, the 12th fret is pretty much the middle of the triangle, and what that means is if I want to lower the action by a 64th of an inch at the 12th fret, I need to lower the height of the bridge saddle by twice that amount, or a 32nd of an inch. So I'm going to remove the saddle and mark the amount I need to take off of it and grind that down and polish it up. Now I'll just sand this with some fine paper and polish it up on the buffing wheels. Okay, so I'm tuning this to A. And then D, G, C, E, A. I love the sound of these guitars.